Altered Carbon, Resleeved. I'm Joe. Please subscribe to this channel. Season 2 was fantastic. I didn't review it because life happened, I guess you could say it like that, and I hid under my bed for weeks. But now I'm back at it, trying to catch up on my videos, and Netflix gave us a little surprise gift in an anime prequel for Altered Carbon. Not bad, not a bad anime, not a great anime. I don't know how much it tied into Altered Carbon. I mean, it clearly did. They clearly made it tied into Altered Carbon, but I guess what I'm thinking is, I've tried to look and I couldn't find anything. Was this some kind of repurposed anime? Because there was a lot of little things throughout it that made me think that it wasn't specifically made to be a prequel, almost like somebody found this anime and maybe invested a little extra money in adding some things that tied in the story to the show. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't find anything that suggested it was, but that's what it felt like, because there was things about it that were inconsistent with the television show. But not a bad anime, not a bad hour plus to watch. This is what I was thinking. Everything kind of unravels as far as how much it ties in. Takeshi Kovacs needles into Latimer, and he needles into some nightclub where everybody's dancing practically naked. And when he needles into his new body, which is very military grade, you see up on the screen Takeshi Kovacs needling in. This is a year after the fall of Stronghold. Why would he be needling in and his name's just up on the screen? Is nobody paying attention? Nobody's looking for him? It wouldn't have said his alias, which was Ken, throughout the episode, but it said Takeshi Kovacs. So I'm like, oh, that's a little weird. That's sloppy, and it was little things like that made it feel sloppy, like it was just something repurposed. Takes place 1 year after the fall of Stronghold, so you would imagine that the way it works in the timeline is that, Chris Falcon is dead, he thinks his sister's dead, he's trying on the run, and Tanaseda, his friend who we meet in Season 2, makes him the proposition to help him with this job, and they'll clear his record on Harlan's. At the very end of the episode, it changes to, did you negotiate with the Yakuza? So my thought is that how this ties in with the series is that when we see how they capture Takeshi Kovacs before he gets put into the situation of Season 1, he was hanging out in that hotel, which we learned later was Tanaseda's safe house. So I'm guessing he came across Tanaseda. I'm guessing he spent a number of years working for him, and he was able to operate on Harlan's freely because he made a deal with the Yakuza that they wouldn't turn him in. Because remember, him and his sister murdered a bunch of Yakuza when they met each other, along with also turning on SeaTac, turning on the Protectorate. So that would be my guess, was that he was operating all those years for Tanaseda under his protection because he negotiated that way he could be there on Harlan's. That would sort of make sense to me as to how that works in the timeline of things. But what doesn't make sense to me was Tanaseda himself. Very reserved, very stoic. He was even the guy who, when they landed on Harlan's, he was upset that they wiped everybody out. That had happened well before the events in this show, but the whole anime, he's got this like sinister look on his face, sinister, crazy anime character thing throughout his face the whole time, including when his father dies. So it didn't feel like it was really that character. I know these people are supposed to change as the years go on, but you saw him in a flashback on Season 2 when they landed at Harlan's, and he was very reserved even then. So it was a little sloppy. I kind of liked the connection, but it made me think that this was repurposed. Well, obviously, Takeshi didn't know that Gina was Raylene, because Raylene was flat as a board, and Gina was freaking, had like triple D's. But that also didn't tie in with her character. She had already betrayed the envoys, and she's operating, and she runs into Tak. Now, I guess you could say that she knew Tak was alive the whole time, and maybe she found him, and whatever she was saying in those scenes in Season 2 with Cal Chris when she was on ice was BS. She was just lying to her. But her demeanor, her behavior was a little weird. She seemed like a good guy after she had already screwed the envoys and had them all murdered, and I don't know. So it was a little much of a stretch. She didn't really have to be Raylene. That was not necessary. She could have just been some character. She did not need to be his sister. And he didn't know it was her. Those envoy intuitions were really screwing up if he didn't know it was her. Tana Seda sent Takeshi Kovacs in to this organization to figure out the truth behind their ritual of ascension. And their ritual was that the leader would have a gigantic tattoo put on them that is coded that when it's time for them to give up leadership, the other leader, the new leader, will have the same tattoo. The old leader's tattoo will be activated and will kill their stack. And the new leader, who has a tattoo now, will carry on. But the concept is that whoever is the leader eventually is going to turn it over to a new leader and always die. And Tana Seda doesn't believe in this and thinks it's BS. We have the guy who's about to be the new leader is trying to kill the tattoo artist because the tattoo artist has to complete the tattoo for him to be able to die once he becomes the leader. And if he kills her, she's the only one who knows this technology. So he can kill her. He won't have the tattoo implanted that will eventually have to kill him. And he could be the new leader forever when they get rid of the old leader. But then it turns out that the old leader was the old leader. He was the original leader who happened to be Tana Seda's father. And he was perpetuating this myth. And he was basically putting the tattoo onto whoever, he was putting the tattoo onto everybody, but swapping his stack in before they died. So he was the original leader from the very, very beginning. And every time the succession came around, he swiped himself into the body of the person who was going to be successor. So a coup is happening as the leader is preparing to do what he always does, which would be just keep on leading for basically an eternal life, which in itself makes no sense because eternal life is a thing for the rich. So I don't know why he's going through this whole pretense, because he could have eternal life anyway, because that's the whole point of the show, is to be a meth and to live forever. But I guess he thinks it's going to be some sort of loyalty that he's getting from the people because of this. So it's very convoluted. They tried to throw in a little surprise that Holly, the tattoo artist who looks like a little girl, at the end reveals she's actually Margaret, the person who invented the tattoo that would kill the stack. It was not that big of a shock, but she said, no, I want to grow up in this one, though, so if they see me again, blah, 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 whatever. Who cares? We had no attachment to Holly or Margaret, so what did it matter? Now, they had Olgi. Olgi was supposed to be like the Poe of this thing, their AI, and he will be loyal to whoever the new head of the clan is. And he had a whole fireworks display, and it was very convoluted at the end because he turned his fireworks display on the head of the clan, because the head of the clan wasn't the stack of who it was supposed to be, but the stack of the very, very original clan leader. So the whole thing was a farce. So because of that, he turned on him and blew all those fireworks into him. And as he's blowing all those fireworks into him, Tana Seda has like this happy look of the carnage that's happening, which made no sense for the character we saw in season 2. Great violence, though. I will say there was some absolutely fantastic violence and killing. They really took advantage of that. I think my favorite death was going to be when they're in the hallway and the one guy has Gina, one of the tech ninjas has Gina, and Takeshi saves her. But then before it's all dead and done, she takes her gun, she puts it into her helmet, friggin' shoots like 5 times, and you can see the bullet popping, but it doesn't leave the helmet. So they had these indestructible bulletproof armor, but she just went through it, and it was so bulletproof that it didn't even come out. That was really cool. The end fight scene was really cool with them beating the crap out of each other. Death was really cool of the big boss. He's got the whole thing going through. I don't want to die. And then Tana shoots him in the stack anyway. So that was his last act of kindness, was sparing him the indignity of dying in that way. And then everything carries on. Then the very, very end, after the job is complete, Tana says, no, you're just started. I got more for you to do. And first Takeshi looks upset, and then he's like, he doesn't care. He's like, what do I gotta do? And even though it was not said, it would go along with what the envoys say. I am an envoy, I take what is offered. Which I'm very upset that was never said, because I love that line. I don't know why, I love that line. It was never said, so that kind of upset me. It also kind of upset me that the first time Raylene realized that was Takeshi, she said Takeshi. They always said Tak. Always they said Tak in a big moment. So those were the little things that made me think it was maybe repurposed, or maybe it's not going to be canon. Maybe they're not going to consider this canon to the regular story. It's just going to be a nice companion piece. I don't know. If you liked Altered Carbon Season 1 and Season 2, watch it. Watch it. You'll enjoy it. It's got good violence. It, for the most part, feels like it belongs in the universe. It has the same tech. It's worth a watch. And hopefully they do a Season 3, and they set up for more animes, so hopefully they're going full force and they're going to have a whole franchise of Altered Carbon. They're not going to cut it after Season 2. This wasn't that great, but you know what? As somebody who loves this franchise, at least the franchise on Netflix, I know people say it's much different if you read the books, but at least as someone who loves the franchise on Netflix, keep it going. Give me another anime. I'll watch it. Please make another season. Please don't make it take 2 years, although I'm sure everything in production right now has been pushed back, so it'll probably be 3 years till we see another season. So give me more anime. Looked easy to make. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Until next time, I'm Joe.